Hey good people, my name is Valerie and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is my first time doing a video tutorial. I just hope it will be of help to those who are sending in requests. So in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to do a two-tone cardigan, which by the way happens to be my client's order. So these measurements that I will be using will be based on her size, but you can make it in any size you wish, so you're free to go ahead and recreate it in any size you wish. So this is the cardigan that I'll be working on. It's you can see it's so pretty, it's so warm, and it's a bit baggy. I just love them when they're baggy. I think it's my style. Yeah. So these are the materials that we need to achieve this project. I'll be working with Robinian. It's 100% acrylic. I'll need 14 of them, 7 of each color. Then I'll need a tape measure. I'll need a 3.0 millimeter hook. Then I'll need some stitch markers and a pair of scissors. Yes, so with this material we're good to start, so let's get into the video. So I'll go ahead and make a slip knot and make a chain of 78. So this is a back panel. We will be working on back panel first, then we will do front panels. So I forgot to tell you that when you're working with Robinian, the small ball thin one, you have to work with 2 strands, so you'll have to double the strands to achieve best results for the project. But if you're working with Winter King or any medium weight yarn, you can just use 1 strand. That's okay. It's even easier to work with, but working with Robinian you can't use 1 strand. So I'll just go ahead and make this chain until it measures the measurements that I need. So this is my chain of 78. Let's see how many it measures. Yeah, so almost 22 inches. So that's okay for me to work with. You need a waist length, so it's okay. So for the first row we are going to work single crochets down the project. Single crochets, the easiest ones to make. You'll know that, but if you're a beginner, I'll show you how they're done. So that's how they're done. I don't know how to describe it, but you just insert your hook, then you pull your yarn through all the 2 loops. It's so simple, by the way. You see that they're very simple to work. So up to now I think we all know what we're doing, so I'll just leave you to go ahead and complete the row. But now you'll have to count 10 stitches down the row for the bottom border, so that we will work slip stitches. I'll just show you. I have, I think 12 stitches, so I need 10. I'll just work single crochets in 2. So these are 10 10 stitches into which we are going to work slip stitches. These are for the bottom border. You see the ribbing at the bottom of the cardigan, so just go ahead and make slip stitches, 10 of them. Remember to put a stitch marker in the first slip stitch so you don't miss your work. You just do slip stitches to the end of the project, I mean the end of the row. Slip stitch, sorry about that. Slip stitch, and you make sure you work in all stitches. You miss out one stitch, two stitches, you mess up the whole project. So after completing the row, you chain one and turn your work. And so for row 2 we are going to work in back loops only. So from here to the end of this panel we are making, we're going to be working in back loops. You know, back loops, yes, in those loops. So just go ahead and make slip stitches in these back loops until you can count them if you're not sure. Just count 10 or the number that you're working with. You know, as I said, you can work it in any size you wish. So yeah, also remember to put a stitch marker in the last slip stitch from down, and when you're crocheting from up, okay, I don't know, from the shoulders down, you put a stitch marker in the first slip stitch. That one you have to, else you'll mess up your work. So you just continue with single crochets up the project. Now we up. So we just continue working in our back loops. You see, it's so simple to work, and it's starting to create that effect, the ribbon effect that I like. You see that it's so pretty, the effect so pretty. You can see for yourself, it's so pretty. So you'll just have to go ahead and complete the row. I'll meet you at the end of the row. I'll meet you here. So yeah, I'm here. We complete the row, chain one and turn your work. So just continue working single crochets. Yeah, so up to here I think you're okay to go ahead and complete the row up to the last single crochet. Then I'll meet you there. You see the effect it's creating. So this is how your work should be looking. up to now. So I'm here again. Let's complete the row. I'm having 2 stitches remaining, so I'll just work single crochets and then remove my stitch marker. I work my first slip stitch and then return my stitch marker. Please don't forget to mark this stitch that you're not sure about. Like for these ones, slip stitches and single crochets are, to differentiate them when they're together, it's so hard. So it's just important for you to put a stitch marker. You know, you can use anything. If you don't have stitch markers, you can just use a different colored yarn. You don't have to have the stitch markers, but just remember to put a stitch marker. So at the end of each row, you chain one and turn your work. So you see how it's the effect at the bottom, it's coming. Always remember to work in the first stitch and don't skip any stitch. You can mess up your entire project, and we don't want that. So just remember to mark them. And this pattern is so simple, so go ahead and complete the row. I'll meet you up here. So at the end of each row, remember to chain one before turning your work. Okay, so it's just single crocheting in back loops and then slip stitches in the bottom border, and then yeah, it's so simple by the way. So remember, we're working 2 colors, so each color for the back panel, each color should have half measurements. So my measurements for the whole back panel is 26 inches, so one color should be 13 inches each. So this blue color should be 13 inches, then the white one should be 13 inches to make them 26. Just remember that. I just remembered I didn't tell you at the beginning of the project. You know, it's my first time, so I hope you'll understand. Otherwise, the pattern is so simple to work. So don't forget to put a stitch marker again. Don't forget. Do not forget. By the way, when working your slip stitches, do not make them too tight. So the pattern is the same, just go ahead and repeat what we've been doing. And remember the measurements that we need. For one color, it's the half of the entire panel. So for my case, I'm working 13 inches for each color. So I don't know how many you're working for your project, but it's a half of the entire panel. Don't forget that. So I'll just go ahead and work the rest of the part of camera, and I'll leave you to work yours too. So when I come back, I'll be having my 13 inches for the blue color, and I'll show you how to switch the colors. So just go ahead and work your project. I'll work mine, and yeah, so I'm back on my last row of the blue piece. So I'll just go ahead and complete the row, then I'll show you how to switch the colors. You know, that's the most difficult part for some people, but it's simple. You'll see it's very simple to switch the colors. So that's my last stitch. So when you're in the last stitch, you know, remember you are chaining one then turning our work, but in this case we won't chain one. You see how pretty it looks? The pattern is so pretty. So from here I want you to pay your full attention, because we will be switching the colors. So your wrong side should be the one facing up and the right side facing down. So this is how you hold the yarn that you've been using, and the white one is the one that we will pull in the loop that we had. So yeah, you just hold them together, you pull the white one in the blue loop, and then you pull the blue loop to make it tighter, then you chain one. Okay, for the last time, you hold the blue yarn, then you pull the white one in the blue loop, then you chain one. You pull to make it tight, then you chain one. Yeah, just like that. Then you go ahead and continue just as we've been doing, slip stitches and single crochets. So that's it. So simple. The pattern is the same. The only thing that we've changed here is the color, so nothing is complicated here. So you should be able to work the entire project, the entire panel. Yeah, so remember to, if I threw my stitch marker, I don't know where so that's why you've seen me counting. So you just go ahead and work single crochets up on your way up. You see, this pattern is so simple. It's the easiest and it's my favorite. So yeah. So the pattern is the same, single crochets in back loops and slip stitches in back loops for the bottom border. And nothing is different. The only thing that is different from here, it's the color. Here, this color that we are working with right now. So if you throw away your stitch marker like me, remember to count your stitches for slip stitches. So at the end of each row, remember to chain one and turn your work. This is how your project should be looking like. So I'll just go ahead and work the rest of the white part off camera and leave you to work yours, and I'll be back with my whole back panel now. Yeah, so I'm back with my back panel. As you see, they are equal. You see how pretty it looks. So I'll just take the measurements to see how many it measures. Yeah, that's 26 inches. So I'll just go ahead and work the front panels. So the pattern is the same except for the front panel, so you have to take the measurements for the back panel minus 5 divided by 2. Like for my case, the measurements for the back panel is 26, so it's 26 minus 5 then divided by 2. So each front panel should be measuring 10.5 each, so each color should be measuring 10.5. so just go ahead and work them. I'll work mine off camera, then I'll be back with both of them. So yeah, so I'm back with my front panels. So you'll have to place your back panel with the right side facing down, the wrong side facing up, then the front panels with the right side facing up, the wrong side facing down. So you'll have to attach them using stitch markers. I don't know if you don't have, you just have to find something that will attach them together, then you'll sew them together. You can use a darning needle, you can use single crochets, you can use slip stitches. For my case, I'll just use slip stitches to join them together. So remember, the neckline should be 5 inches. Don't forget, when joining, the neckline should be 5 inches. So yeah, so for me, I like joining my projects with the right side outside. So I don't know for you, but this is for me, this works for me. So for you, I don't know which one works for you. You just work with what works best for you. So just go ahead and join them together. I'll join mine off camera, then I'll be back to show you how to attach the sleeves. I'm back. I've joined them, so I'll show you how to work the sleeves. So you'll have to take the measurements for the circumference of your arm and put a stitch marker. You measure it from your shoulders to underarm, so you put a stitch marker, and then you join the two from the bottom border to underarm. I use slip stitches, as I said earlier. I like using slip stitches. So just go ahead and join them with whatever stitch you use. If it's a darning needle or whatever you use, just go ahead and join the two up to underarm. So I'll just join it off camera. So I'm here at the underarm. I don't know if my English is correct, but I'm here. So I'll just complete joining, and then I chain 1, and then I'll work single crochets around the sleeve to underarm. Okay, I'll just work single crochets around, but this is entirely up to you, so you don't have to. So I'll just complete the single crochets and then join using a slip stitch, and then I'll make a chain for the length of the arm. So in this case I'll need a chain that measures up to 21 inches. I'll just measure and see how many it measures. So yeah, that's 21 inches. So you chain 1, then you slip stitch. I'll slip stitch in 10 stitches. Now this one is a bit different from the, no, it's not, it's just that when we are beginning with slip stitches, 10 slip stitches for the cuff. So just work 10 slip stitches, and then you put a stitch marker in the last slip stitch. Do not forget that, please. So I'll just have to do slip stitches, 10 of them, and press the stitch marker in the last slip stitch, then continue doing single crochets just like we were doing the panels, like we were working the panels, you remember? Single crochets, normal ones for the first row, then the other rows it's working in the back loops. So that's the pattern. So go ahead and work your way up. I'll meet you here. So I'm here to show you how to join this on the border here. So you have to remember your last stitch of single crochet, because the slip stitches that you used to join on the border do not count as stitches. So you have to put a stitch marker if you can, or if you can remember, you can just leave it. Then you have to remember, because if you don't, you happen to work in the slip stitch, you mess up your project. So those slip stitches do not count as stitches. So you join with the 2 slip stitches, then turn your work, then single crochet in back loops. Remember, your last single crochet is your first stitch, so do not forget. So from here the pattern is almost the same, but there is a slight difference at the cuff. We will be working a reduction. We don't want to have a wide cuff, so I'll show you how to do a reduction down there, but otherwise the pattern is working single crochets into back loops, then slip stitches down there, except for the reduction part, but I'll show you, don't worry about it, I will show you. So you just work single crochets down the project. I'll meet you here. So I'm here. So I want to show you how to make a reduction. So in this case we won't complete the row, we will have to chain 1 and turn our work, so no completion of the row in this case. Okay, you chain 1 and turn your work and work single crochets in back loops. So you just work single crochets in back loops. to the end of the row. So you just go ahead and complete your row. I'll meet you at the border to show you again how to join on the border. So I'm here again. We just complete our row. Please mark your last single crochet stitch. These slip stitches, I've said, do not count as stitches. Remember your last single crochet stitch. That's where you will begin your next row. So do not forget about that. So you turn your work, single crochet in back loops down your project, down the cuffs. So in this row we will complete it. See, this one we will have to complete it. So you go ahead, I'll meet you here. So I'm here to show you how to complete, okay, it's not to show you but to complete this row with you, because I said this one we will have to complete. We made a reduction, so this one we will have to complete. So you just complete with slip stitches in back loops, just like we were doing with the with the border of the panels. Yeah, just like we were doing with them. So it's slip stitches, you slip stitch, slip stitch, chain one, turn your work, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, remove your stitch marker, slip stitch, and return your stitch marker. You have to the last slip stitch, then continue with single crochets to the end of the row. You see, it's so simple. You just have to remember reduction. When you turn, after this row, when you turn, you make a reduction, turn your work, complete, you turn with a reduction. You see, that's how it works. For the sleeve, for the cuffs to be small, to be tight or small, you know, for them not to be wide. See? So we're here again. As I said, remember your last single crochet. Okay, that's where you begin your next row, in the last single crochet you made. So I'll meet you here to show you how to do a reduction again. So I'm here again. This is the last reduction I'm doing with you. So you just work in the last single crochet, chain one, and turn your work. So this is how you'll have to remember. When you have an incomplete, you have a complete row, you work a reduction. When you have an incomplete row, you complete it. Okay, the pattern is so simple. Just remember the reduction part. Otherwise, I'll leave you to go ahead and work the rest of the sleeve. I'll go ahead and complete mine off camera, then I'll be back to show you how to join them. So you just go ahead and work yours. I'll meet you here. Yeah, back with my sleeve all done. I'll just have to join it using slip stitches as usual. I told you I'm a fan of slip stitches, so you just go ahead and join yours, and then you'll have to work the other sleeve just as we worked this one. I'll go ahead and work mine off camera too, then I'll be back with both of them all done together. So yeah, join the sleeve, go ahead and work the other sleeve, then when I come back I'll be having my 2 sleeves, then we will just be remaining with the neckline to work on. So I'm back with all my sleeves done. You can see they look so pretty. You see the effect of the reduction that I was insisting on. You see how they make the curves look so pretty and small. So we'll just have to go ahead and work the neckline. So for the neckline, you can choose the stitch that you'll use. You can either use single crochets, you can use half double crochets, you can use double crochets and do the front post and back post thing. But for me, I'll do slip stitches, but in this case I'll be working slip stitches in both loops. You understand? Slip stitches in both loops, so in both 2 loops, for it to create the effect that I want for my neckline. So you'll see. So it's slip stitches in both loops. So if you choose to do slip stitches, you slip stitch in both loops, both the front and the back loop. So yeah, that's how I'll be working mine. But if you find it a bit difficult, you can use single crochets around, or you can use half double crochets, or you can use double crochets, then do the front post and back post thing. So as you see, I'm doing slip stitches in both loops. And remember, if you choose to do slip stitches, don't make them too tight, because when you turn your work, you'll find it hard to work in them. So you just have to make them a bit loose, not too loose but not too tight again. So yeah. You know, I love slip stitches because of the effect that it created. It creates a unique effect, kind of knitted one, so that's why I love it. So I'm here at the part where we have to switch the colors. So in this case we will have to drop the white one in the wrong side of the project. So when we insert in the loops where we need them to be, we just drop the white one and hold it from the inside. Then you pull the blue one, and then you pull them to make sure the stitches are intact. I don't know, they're even or intact, I don't know, but that's how you work them. So you don't have to worry about the color switching thing. I'll just show you when we turn our project. When we will be working on our second row, I'll show you how to do it. So remember to begin with the first stitch, and your slip stitches should be through 2 loops, so you should be working through 2 loops, so do not forget that. So this is the pattern for this part. So you work your way up. I'll meet you at the point of switching colors. So I'm here to show you for the last time how to switch colors, so pay attention. So this is the stage that we are supposed to switch the colors from. So the one you're working with, you drop in the wrong side of the project, then you pull the one that you want to work with. Okay, you have to, when you want to drop, you drop in the wrong side. So I'll go ahead and work the rest of it off camera. I'll do around 6 rows. So I don't know how many will work for you, but for me I'll do 6 rows. But if you choose to work half double crochets or single crochets, they have to be maybe 3 rows and 2 for double crochets. So go ahead and complete. I'll meet you when I'm done with mine too. Yeah, so I'm back with everything done. You can see it looks so pretty, the effect that the slip stitches created. You see why I love slip stitches, so you can just go ahead and weave in the ends, and yeah, we are good to go. We can now fit. See, I couldn't wait. So that's me. Love it. It's super warm, super pretty. And the hat, I made it earlier, so yeah, I can't wait to see your versions. So yeah, please like my video if you love it, and drop a comment if you think I need some improvements maybe to make in future, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.